And we are back at the start of race number 4 at the 2025 World Championship here in beautiful Split. The sea breeze still blowing, still going strong, giving us the best. And what we can see for the first time, it's crowded at the starting vessel. The right-hand side was in favor for the last race, so all of the sailors now, of course, want to have the best start at the starting vessel, which means it will be crowded, there will be shouting, there will be screaming, which means a lot of action for us.
That's right. The wind is still steady from 250, 11 knots.
On board with winners of race number 1 from Switzerland, with Hunkela Ivan Müller. Looking like it's very close over there, 2 minutes and 16 seconds.
Away from start, boats positioning themselves, looking for spot.
The Swiss still on the tack without right of way. So they will probably tack or jibe very soon, as there's only 1 minute and 50 seconds left. But of course they want to be as close as possible to the starting vessel, and we haven't seen this little boats at the pin end. 1 minute and 30 seconds away from the start. And with the Vaqueros system, the boats can see on their boats how many meters they have left. The start line, 1 minute and 5 seconds.
We also saw some guests out there at the starting line.
And the supporting vessels keeping them away from this busy area. The starting vessel, almost the whole fleet on the upper side of the starting line. 50 seconds left. All the boats here, Marin Michour and Tanko Parac, very close racing. They have to give way to the boat that is on the bottom, but they let them go through. And another 30 seconds, but the boat's already very close to the line. Now they have to go down. Who will be pushed over the line by other boats? Who will manage their start perfectly? And another 15 seconds to the start. But the boat's already looking very solid there. And we're off for race number 4 of the 2025 World Star Championship. Looks like there are not as many boats as in the first race over the line.
That's right, there was around 10 boats over the line.
Look at that. Sailors who can behave.
Coming back, clearing their OCS. And the race is on. Race number 4 of World Star Championship 2025 in Split, Croatia.
Almost half of the fleet, more in the right side of the course. We will see how that will turn out. Let's take again one of the boats that is all the way to the left. Looks like here we have Croatians 8599.
It was a Swiss one, Peter Ecker and Federico Melo.
Well done.
The guys who were second after the second day of racing here.
Perfect. They will be our boat to spot at the upwind mark. And then all the way on the right-hand side, we have
On the right-hand side, we have some Croatian guys leading the fleet. Tonči Stipanovic and Tudor Bilic making their decision to go right after the first race. Looks like that they are still secure that the right-hand side is paying off. Looking from the drone footage, it does look so.
Champagne sailing conditions here,
and Mary
beautiful
golden
split.
stars in the first row.
Colorful stars. And the right side of the course looks really promising there.
As the drone passed by, we could saw that the left-hand side. You can see the, I was just about to talk about Robert Staniek and Merkel Bockel just making attack. The guys with the gold star on the sail.
How far will they get with crossing that fleet? Port tacking the fleet there. Once again, the fleet splitting up between left and right-hand side of the course. We will see if the wind shift is paying off this time for the guys on the left side, or if there actually is more pressure on the right-hand side of the course. And as well, with the sun going down, there's a rule that the wind is shifting where the sun is going, which would as well say the right-hand side is the favored one. Swiss Silver Star crew. Pete Eckert, who was second at the first race. The boats in the picture on the left-hand side of the course. So we will see how that will turn out in the end.
Looking elegant. These boats are technical, demanding, and push sailors to their absolute limits. 2 crew, 1 powerful rig, and endless opportunities for the tactical brilliance.
And as well, from that drone footage, it really looks like the right-hand side of the course is paying off. A lot of pressure over there, good wind shifts. And we will see where the crews will come out. Here, back on board with the Austrian youngsters, I already checked. They learned from their mistake and now are on the right-hand side of the course. And we will see how they will end up at the first top wind mark. And from our side, we will take a quick break. But of course, you will have all those amazing pictures and footage. And then we will be back with the leading boats at the first top mark of race number 4 at the 2025 Star World Championship.
And we are back on air. I might have missed some tack or two, but luckily these boats are still on the course, and so am I. Let's see what's happening out there. The boats are getting closer to the top mark. And in the lead, there are two American boats. Again, Paul Cayard. Paul
and
Cayard
Frida Kleen. I was just looking at the tracker. Yeah, Paul Cayard and Frida Kleen.
Very close to them, George Sabo and George Iverson.
As well, world champions. Here on board with Heiko de Bern, Alessandro Fonger. Making their way as well to the right side of the course.
And another American being very close by is Jack Jennings and Pedro Truchet.
Pedro Truche as well, world champion. And absolute star-class sailors. And here back on board with the youngsters from Austria, trying to fight their way up to the top mark as well on the right-hand side of the course.
Looks like the right-hand side again did pay out. Boats are very close to the ley line, heading towards the top mark.
And as well there in the leading pack are Germans, Robert Staniek and Marcel Fockel. Robert Staniek as well, a world champion 2014. Amazing tacking techniques on board with the Croatians.
We can see how intensive it's out there.
The sea breeze pumping.
It's still on.
But it still looks like all of the boats are still under the ley line. No one's coming all the way from the right side of the course, so they're all staying fairly close to each other.
We are on board camera with Marin Mishura and Tonko Barac.
And there as well on the right side of the course in the leading pack. But still, the nose and the front is Paul Cayard and Kleen. So the big question is now, if they would win both races, would we only have to do one interview then? Or should we go to the next ones? We will see at the boatyard later in the harbor how much energy they really have left after 2 long, very intense races. And once again, most of the fleet coming from the right-hand side of the course here, from this perspective from the left side, the upwind mark and the offset mark waiting to be rounded.
Even though they will be exhausted, today there is a midweek dinner held under the tent in the Yacht Club Mornar at 8 o'clock. Guys gonna enjoy some food and some drinks after the racing,
And here we see
having time to comment their sailing today, what was going on out there on the water.
and on the ley line, attacking Paul Cayard and Kleen like on rails. That's the conditions they like. And right behind, another gold star, actually 2 gold stars, both from the States. 8606. George Sabo and George Iverson.
Rounding the top mark shortly after the port Cayard.
And then on 3rd spot, Eric Doyle and Payson Infelice. I mean, 3 gold stars, one after the other. This is star class sailing. And the Germans, 1513.
8513.
Yeah. Dani Fritz, Michi Oberweger, young stars from Germany. Look at that, 8464.
With Americans.
Jack Jennings and Pedro Drusch as well, finally in the front there. Then look at that, gold stars, silver stars. Now we're talking.
Another US, 8607.
Scott Barnard, Kilian Weise with one of the newest boats on the course. Looking very packed there. Then we have
in this pack as well Croatians, Marin Mishura and Tonko Barac. What a nice sailing.
They're on their way to the offset mark. And right behind them, John Kostecki, Austin Perry, defending world champions, as well up there in the leading pack. And then from Austria, Stefan Schurich, Michi Müller. Very close rounding here. Amazing perspective from the mark. Robotic marks. And the leaders, showing them how it's done. Crowded mark roundings with over 100 boats on the course. It's the 9th time the Star World Championship is with over 100 sailors or crews. Paul Cayard, Kleen Always looking back with 100 boats breathing in your neck.
Talking about mark rounding, we had an issue in the first 2 days of racing. So the jury has to make a notice to competitors. They saw that during the first 2 days of racing, they observed several boats touching the mark and not taking any actions. That's right. And the sailing in itself, policing spot, and every boat duty is to enforce the rules. Up to now, the international jury was not taking action and believing that the incident has been seen by the other competitors. And they said that from now on, the jury will protest the boat that touched the mark and the ones which not take any actions. This was something new for me to read out this in such a fleet. But maybe the guys thought, as the mark is this electronic self-assembling, then other rules might be.
Here we can see again a little bit more of a split up of the fleet between the left side and the right side of the course. The boats that are a little bit more in the back, trying to get more pressure from the right side of the course.
We can see now that already the majority of the fleet, especially the first boats, are already jibed. They are on the port side, going towards the Downwind gate mark.
Croatian, Pavle Kostov,
August Schramm.
Done. By the end, we will both be experts in Croatian and German names. And the conditions still amazing.
Have maybe information how many of these sailors made their debut? Is it in English? Debut, like for the first time appearing at the World Championship. It would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
Pavle Kostov as well. Well-known sailor from Croatia, was sailing in 470 and 49er for a long time.
What I can tell you about the cruise, there's over 106 entries from 19 countries with 12 under 30 skippers, 5 female competitors, 1 all-female crew, and 14 past Star World Champions. And once again, Paul, Cayard and Kleen taking the lead comfortably. Very close racing right after, and 3 gold stars. Where we have on second spot George Sabo and George Iversen, and then on the third Eric Doyle and Payson Infeliz. Then the youngsters from Germany, Dani Fritz, Michi Oberweger, then Jack Jennings, Pedro Drusch, then Nick Heuwinkel and Jesper Speer, another U30 team, again strong in the top 10. Then with Scott Barnard, Kilian Weise, Robert Staniek, Marcel Fockel. On the 9th, Tonci Stipanovic, Tudor Bilic, and famous Juan K. and Fernando Rivera.
What is going on with Italian Diego Negri and Sergio Labortegui today?
Maybe a little bit too much party last night because of their win. No.
We can see the body movement of the crew.
Frida Kleen knows what he's doing there. Back on board with Dutch Heiko de Boer and Alessandro Fonger. Looking solid as well there. Coming in for a jibe? No, just to fix something.
And again, still extending their lead, Paul Cayard and Frida Kleen. In a second place, followed by another American, George Sabo and George Everson. In the third place, again from the state, Eric Doyle and Payson in Fellas. And there is a battle going for fourth place at the moment. So, do you want to bet if the Pole gonna make, if he gonna extend the lead?
Yes, and I will.
And if it's gonna be a bigger than in the one in the previous race?
So we have 30 seconds at stake.
Yeah.
I think his lead will be even more this time. So I would, yeah.
Then I'm opposite.
Okay, but you as well think that he will win?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we could saw from them. which, I mean, we could saw their expertise in the second upwind. Once they came into the lead, how they extended, how they were covering the fleet, the rest of the fleet, just
Yes.
going more and more to the front. Obviously, both handling the boat perfectly, making every maneuver perfectly.
Just looking at those pictures, the lead there looks like what you want. With an amazing downwind performance, they extend their lead. Let's put a timer on for the downwind mark rounding, because I want to know if it is, how far we are. And if I win that coffee. And back on board with Paul Cayard and Kleen, where we will have a look how many seconds they are in the lead right now. But what about the Croatian?
Yeah, the Marin Mishura and Tonko Barać, they are around 6th place, battling as well with another Croatian, Tonči Stipanovic and Tudor Bilic. So far, great performance by Croatian, being in top. Race number 3, and so far in race number 4.
Boats are getting very close to the downwind gate. And I think already now it looks like more than 30 seconds of lead. And it looks like Paul Cayard and Kleen are going for, again, for the right-hand side of the course. So they will probably choose the right gate, or as they look at it, the left gate.
Still, after today's race, we still are not having a discard one. Boats need to complete 5 races be able to discard one.
Six races in total is the goal for this World Championship. And the conditions look promising. Coming closer to the bottom mark, making their way to leg number 3, extending their lead. Back on board with Marin Mishura, Tonko Barac. Looking like they kicked over their onboard computer, but nothing Tonko Barac can fix.
Breathing at their neck from Argentina, Juan and Fernando. We can see
the first mark
that
rounding.
Paul Cayard and Kleen are getting ready for mark rounding.
And I will put the timer on.
And choosing again the left gate, rounding the bottom mark, going into the second leg. Sorry, into the third leg, second upwind.
Comfortably.
With a comfortable lead.
Wow. I mean, I did not expect to already have over 30 seconds of lead. That's insane. And on second position.
Second position, rounding the same mark, is George Sabo and George Iverson.
As well.
From United States.
They were as well on the top mark in second position, so there was no change there. Then we have a very close call between Croatia.
Tonči Stipanovic and Tudor Bilic, who are rounding the right gate in the third position.
And they were 9th at the top mark, so what a good job. And then
followed by the German Robert Staniek and Marcel
Fockel.
Sorry.
And then on the other side,
we have a Croatian, Marin Mishura and Tonko Barac. Followed by American Eric Doyle and Payson Iverson.
And an amazing appearance. 4th race in the top 10 is Nick Heuwinkel and Jesper Speer. They're on the inside. Very close call with from the States, Jack Jennings and Pedro Trusch.
Looking from this drone, you can see that the left gate is way preferred.
But it looks like Paul Cayard and Kleen are sailing quite a lonely race up there. I'm very sorry, I was quite busy with checking out the boats, so I did not stop the timer. What would you say?
45 seconds around.
45 seconds. Well, now the question is it over a minute at the finish?
While some of the boats already started their way to the second upwind, we can see a big fleet coming up to the gate. Trying to position themselves.
Looking super busy there. And a lot of boats aiming to go for the right side of the course. Close mark rounding. Quite some movement there with those waves. You don't want to be too close. And of course, if you touch the mark, you have to do one jibe and one tack, because that's the only fair thing there is.
We can see on Vakaros that Paul is making his way to the right-hand side.
And
followed by George Sabo and George Iverson.
And now that almost all the boats went through the gate, we once again will take a quick break and then of course give you again the upwind leaders and the positions of them. So have fun with those amazing pictures and we will be back soon.
And we are back. This is the third leg of the second race of today, the fourth race of this World Championship in Star Class. The boats are getting closer to the top mark. There is no change in the leading position. Paul Cayard leading the fleet, controlling the fleet, making his way up for the second win in the row.
Absolute champagne sailing conditions out there. Around 15 knots blowing from the north. The sea breeze kicking in. And it's just amazing that we can get 2 races in, as yesterday we didn't have a race. So, Josip, we finally have a little bit of time. So, yesterday, the whole fleet did not race because there was a Yugo storm coming.
That's
and
right.
I have 4 facts about the Yugo, and you have to tell me if they're right or wrong. So,
Let's see.
first one. Yugo, literally translated, means coming from the north.
Coming from the south.
Right, that was wrong. Then, fact number 2.
I thought you were reading wrong.
No. No, that was the test. Yugo is a wind coming from the south. Then, the highest wave ever recorded in Croatia was 10.87 meters high near Dubrovnik during a Yugo storm in 2019. Over 10 meters. Is that true?
No.
It is. It was over 10 meters, and it's the highest wave that was ever recorded in, like...
I would say 6 meters, if you ask me. But not that.
Well, it's true. And then, in 1272 in Dubrovnik, major laws and decisions were not made and not allowed during Yugo winds.
That's true.
That is true. And then as well, in that time, crimes committed during Yugo were often treated with more leniency because judgment was thought to be negatively affected by the Yugo wind.
True.
Very true. Yes, we discussed that today a little bit. I did not, or I wasn't aware that Yugo means that much to Croatians, especially in the south.
In the south, not to Croatia. In the south more, I think.
Yeah. So, yeah, but we don't have that today. Today the sea breeze kicked in after some waiting game. Absolutely amazing conditions here in beautiful Split. And the boats making their way up to the second upwind mark. And then after that, it's all downwind from there into the finish and back to us, back to the harbor. In the lead, still Paul Cayard and Frida Kleen, who won the first race of today. So race number 3 and race number 4, it looks like. But the race is not over till it's over.
At the moment, there is a battle for the second place in between Croatian Tonči Stipanovic and Tudor Bilic and American George Sabo and George Iverson.
Amazing pictures on board Pavlik Hostov and August Schramm with their star making their first time appearance in a World Championship. And strong. Back on board, amazing footage with the young stars from Austria, Roman Stelzel, Pirmin Zablatnik, fighting in the second race. They were on the right side of the course and are up there in the top 20. Paul Cayard, Frida Kleen, amazing downwind performance next to amazing start tactics. So is upwind performance, but especially on the downwind. they just know what they're doing. And on board with the Swiss, who won the race number 1 in this championship, was Hunkeler and Ivan Müller. All those legends going around the course there and doing what they love and what we love.
Comment when they make a mistake.
Sorry?
We love to comment when they make mistakes.
Yes. We absolutely do.
And we have results after 3 races of the World Championship in Star Class. In the first position so far is Poland, Mateusz Kuźnierewicz and Bruno Prada with 26 points. In the second position, Diego Negri and Sergio Lamortenghi with 31 points. Third place, Peter Eckert and Federico Melo with 34 points. In fourth place, Nick Hueven, please help me.
Nick Heuwinkel and Jesper Speer, under 30 team from Germany.
With 36 points, followed by
Arthur van Aanholt, Steen van Driesel.
with 40 points.
And then the Eric Doyle and Payson Infeliz with a 4th place in race number 3, followed by Americans Paul Cayard, Frida Kleen with a win in the last race.
It's going to be interesting to see if the Poland Mateusz Kuźnierewicz and Bruno Prada made their way up in this race, because they were struggling, deciding to go to the left-hand side on the first beat.
Yes,
A
because
lot is at stake, because so far they have been very consistent, having 15th place in the race number 1, being 3rd in race number 2, and having the 8th place in race number 3.
yes, and right now Paul Cayard and Frida Kleen with a lead that is out of a movie. It looks just amazing and must feel amazing, and especially after tomorrow's race, which is the 5th race, they can discard one, and with Paul Cayard and Frida Kleen having a 35th position, and now then another 10th and a win in the other races. They are doing an amazing job. At the upwind mark, I will once again set the timer to see if it's already a minute of lead to the second. Who will either be the Croatians or maybe as well Eric Doyle from the States, George Sabo. They were all very close there.
Croatia's going to be in second.
Of course you have to say this. I thought we agreed on Pavle Kostov and August Schramm.
No. Tonči Stipanovic and Tudor Bilic come in the second position, it will be the second best, not time, second best score of today's races.
Nice. Yeah, they're having a good day, I feel like.
They're having a good day. Being the third in the previous one, now battling in between third and the second.
They can finally go back to their favorite tactics of going on the right side of the course when there's sea breeze.
Yeah.
Paul Cayard and Kleen sailing a very lonely race again in race 4, rounding the top marks. And I will set the timer. And the timer is on. Wow. I can see the smile on Paul Cayard's face from here. He's probably very focused on his way to the offset mark. But those two sailing together for quite a few years. They know each other inside and out. And there will definitely be a celebration tonight. So right now we're already at 40 seconds. No boat in sight. I don't know if there ever was someone this far leading. It's insane. And we're at 1 minute. And there's still no one. But I'm interested in who's going to be second. Ooh, the crew from the States.
George Sabo and George Iverson.
Followed by
Croatian Tonči Stipanovic and Tudor Bilic in third place.
Making it a very close battle.
George Sabo is a world champion winner.
Gold star there. And I think Tonči would love to have one.
But so far has a mixed results. One minute and 30 seconds.
Insane. Will it be 2 minutes at the finish? And then on fourth place right now, having some issues at the ley line. It is German crew with a gold star. 848.
8375. Robert Staniek and Marcel Fockel in fourth place.
We have John Kostecki, Jack Jennings and Pedro Trusch making their way back.
And German Nick Huevnik and
Nick Heuwinkel and Jesper
Speer.
Then 8513. Dani Fritz, Michi Oberweger, another under 30 crew from Germany, holding their spots. Then it was from the States. And two Croatians there.
Marin Mishura and Tonko Barac.
Yes. Rounding the mark in the top 10. There's right now a little bit of an issue with the tracker, whoever's watching the tracker. But
looks like most of the fleet is doing a jibe set out there.
A jibe set. A jibe set usually is when you put up a kite. Start doesn't have a kite, but I would say is this the set of the boom. Jib boom.
Jib boom.
And right now rounding the mark is Italian Enrico Chieffi with Fernando Colanino as well, finding his sea legs here, the area he knows very well. World champion Fernando Colanino Easton got the second place in 2000 and 2022, and here they are as well in the front of the fleet. And another youngster crew from Austria, Roman Stelzl, Blatnik, such as the Swedish and the Australians. There we have another gold star coming up. Mateusz
Kuźnierewicz.
and Bruno Prada.
Having so far the worst regatta in this series. I'm sure they're not happy.
Replay from the first mark rounding or the second of this race. Paul Cayard and Frida Kleen sailing a very lonely race, but just star class, world class. They show why they are the world's best. And we will see how the celebrations will be tonight. Then followed by another world champion, George Sabo, George Iverson, very close, followed by Tonči Stipanovic and Tudor Bilic. And then on the fourth position, Robert Staniek, Marcel Fockel, followed by Jack Jennings and Pedro Trusch, who had made their way back. Then under 30 crew, Nick Heuwinkel and Jesper Speer, such as under 30 crew, Daniel Fritz and Michi Oberweger, followed by Star World Champion, Eric Doyle and Payson Infelis. And then two Croatians fighting against each other, Marin Misuro Tanko Barac against Mate Arapov and Ante Sticic. A little update from us. There hasn't been a change in the lead. Still, there is Paul Cayard and Kleen sailing into the sunset like a movie. 2 races, 2 wins, and showing once again why they are world champions, wearing that gold star with pride. And we're looking forward to welcoming them in the club later at the sailors' party at the midweek dinner, and they will be very happy. And thanks to everyone who's watching from all around the world, from the States to Croatia to Austria, taking you live into this wonderful sunset, champagne sailing conditions here in beautiful Split, Croatia at the 2025 Star World Championship. Here, world champion Paul Cayard, one of the best sailors there is out on the water, not only here, but around the world. And an absolute honor to sail against him. The oldest sailors in this fleet, 85 years, the youngest under 25. So, from over 19 nations. Paul Cayard, I think he saw the drone, sending us his love, and we're very, very happy for him.
That's right. They're a few minutes away from the finish line, a few minutes away from the second win of the day. Sailing with a comfortable lead.
And we have even spectators there. I mean, just as we said earlier, we're here on the cliff of Split in our combox, and then when we turn around, we can see all those stars coming back to us. And now with the sunlight, the sails are just like lights that are shining, guiding their way into the finish line. Or Paul Cayard is actually guiding the way for all the other over 100 sailors, or over 100 crews, over 200 sailors. Wow. I mean, that's insane, pure pleasure. I will prepare the timer. If it's over 2 minutes, I will get 2 coffees. Now, after almost 5 hours of being live here with the sailors on the water, we hope they have enough food and drinks on board, but they usually know that when there's wind, there will be sailing.
Yes, it was a long day for them today. They were starting to go out on the water around 10:30 to 11,
yeah.
with the race being scheduled to start at 1 o'clock.
There was some waiting game. It was quite a while to get out there to the course. So we will ask some. They probably will be very hungry. The midweek weigh-in is done as well. A lot of crews are happy about that.
Food and drinks are almost waiting for them. At 8 o'clock in the club tent, Sailing Club Hornar, there is a midweek gathering with food and beverage.
Tomorrow we definitely need an onboard camera with Paul Cayard. That will be the goal for me tonight, that I make that happen. And you will see if that works out or not tomorrow. We can see the finish line. I have the timer ready, so we can see how far Paul Cayard and Frida Kleen will be in front. That was a very comfortable downwind for them. It is their second win in this championship, and as well the second win today. Race number 3 and 4 both go to America. Former world champions Paul Cayard and Frida Kleen. What a race, what a day. The sun is going down here, beautiful split, amazing sea breeze, and they don't stop to work, even though they're that far in front. But the race is not done till the finish. And once again, big congratulations to Paul Cayard and Frida Kleen. Woo-hoo-hoo. The timer's on. Look at that. Happy faces, happy times. The 11th of September today is a good day for Paul Cayard and Frida Kleen. Looking back, sun is going down, over 100 stars behind you. Magical. Amazing. We can be here with them after such a long day out there on the water. And we will see who will be second. And if there was a change in the lead. Already a minute, and the other boats are not even close.
You can see that the race committee boat is faced the opposite side of the wind, meaning that there is a strong current pushing the boats away from the finish line.
There's a very close one there between the 3rd and 4th position. The second looks quite solid to me, which is hard to spot right now.
There is battle going on for the second, third and fourth place.
And it is
It is USA, George Sabo and George Iverson coming in a second place.
2 minutes, 8 seconds. And the third place goes to... Very hard to spot at the moment. So there's the Germans who were fourth, and the boat behind them.
Might be, for sure it's Tonči and Tudor from Croatia.
And it is Nick Heuwinkel and Jesper Speer, the youngsters, making another top performance here. Absolutely amazing. And then we have from 5th and 6th position, with this sunlight, it's very hard to spot at the moment. Here, thank you for that jive. 8, 5, 3, 1. He just knows how to position him for the live stream. Thank you for that. Yes, Tonko and Marin. Wonderful day, wonderful race. They will as well be very happy. It looks quite chilled out there, but after a day like this, everyone is just happy. It was an amazing day sailing, amazing conditions, but hard work for all the crews. For the fitness, we had everything, light wind and then very strong breeze. Now as well, the breeze going down a bit. So congratulations to all the crews out there. What an amazing day, what amazing championship.
Yeah, we were lucky with today's condition.
Yes.
Starting from the early morning when there was no wind, having a few rain showers out for the fleet while they were waiting for the start. Turned out to be great conditions.
Back with Paul Cayard and Frida Kleen discussing where they made the mistake, but I don't think there were any.
So once again, the finish line of the fourth race, the first position, Paul Cayard and Frida Kleen, followed by George Sabo and George Iverson. In the third place, Tonči Stipanovic and Tudor Bilic, followed by the fourth German.
Nick Heuwinkel and Jesper Speer.
Under 30?
German, yeah. Yes, under 30 crew, Robert Staniek and Marcel Fockel. Then once again, the Croatians.
Mate Arapov and Ante Šitic, followed by Marin Mishura and Tonko Barac.
Followed by the Germans, Dani Fritz and Michi Oberweger.
American Eric Doyle and Payson Iverson in the 9th position, and 10th Argentinian
Juan K. and Fernando Rivero. What a race. Look at that. All those crews making their way back. Now they're facing towards us, towards Split, sailing with the sunset behind you. I mean, the best view?
The romantic view.
A romantic view. Romantic view for Paul Cayard and Frida Kleen. 2 race wins. It is just absolutely amazing. And yeah, as we said, no mistakes there today. Start of race number 4 at the 2025 Star World Championship, with an amazing sea breeze coming in around 15 knots. The over 100 stars made their way up to the first upwind mark. Soon it was clear again that the right side was in favor at the starting vessel, and the boats who took all of that pressure on the right side just could get their nose in front and made their way all the way up to the first upwind mark. Thank you for all these amazing pictures of these stars. Over 100 on the line there. Amazing onboard footage here with the Swiss who won the first race. And from all over the world, 19 nations making their way to race on those beautiful waters in Split.
In the 4th race, we could see again in the first upwind that majority of the fleet took the right-hand side.
Yes, it was the first time very crowded at the starting vessel because everyone wanted to get that advantage. And the wind stayed very consistent, but the pressure was definitely of the right side of the course. And those crews who managed to start there, the one who managed it the best was definitely Paul Cayard and Frida Kleen, the winners as well of race number 3, and here rounding already after the first upwind in a very comfortable position. More gold stars coming in.
They were in the 2nd place, George Sabo and George Iverson, and in 3rd place, Eric Doyle and Payson Iverson.
Then at the first top mark, Dani Fritz Michi Oberweger making a strong appearance in the 4th spot. Then Jack Jennings, Pedro Trusch, such as Nick Heuwinkel, Jesper Speer, Scott Barnard, Kilian Weise, Robert Staniek, Marcel Fockel, and then the Croatians, Tonči Stipanovic and Tudor Bilic. And number 10th at the top mark, Juan Kay and Fernando Rivero. Paul Cayard, his sailing style is hard to describe, but I think perfect today is definitely a way to describe it.
Yes, as the first downwind was going on, there was some changes on the leaderboard. The only secure thing was Paul Cayard and George Sabo.
Yes.
Who were from the beginning until the end securing their 1st and the 2nd spot, resisting the attack from behind. Paul and Frida making their way up more and more, making a distance, making a bigger and bigger margin each leg.
Yes, about this we tracked his time to the 2nd at every mark, and it got bigger and bigger, and at the end it was over 2 minutes, which is just insane. Behind that we had really close racing. Here, for example, the youngsters Nick Heuwinkel and Jesper Speer against the Croatians. And once again, most of the fleet at the 2nd upwind chose the right side of the course, because this paid off today at every occasion. Back with Marin Misura and Tonko Barac, all the way up to the 2nd upwind. The waves were, at the end of the day, quite high, with that sea breeze coming in. And once again, a lonely race for Paul Cayard and Frida Kleen, sailing with the sunset behind them and 100 stars breathing down their necks. Insane. On 2nd position,
was George Sabo and George Iverson, just in front of Croatian Tonči Stipanovic and Tudor Bilic, as well followed by the German Robert Staniek and Marcel Fockel.
And the finish line for Paul Cayard and Frida Kleen. I am looking forward to this interview today because they will be very happy with 2 wins in 2 races. Then the results of race 2 were on 2nd spot George Sabo and George Iverson, 3rd spot Tonči Stipanovic and Tudor Bilic, and so many more amazing sailors making their way. Then we had Nick Heuwinkel and Jesper Speer, Robert Staniek, Marcel Fockel, Mate Arapov, Ante Sitic,
Marin Mishura and Tonko Barac, Daniel Fritzl and Michael Oberweger, Eric Doyle and Payson in Fellas,
Juan Kay,
and Juan Kay and Fernando Rivero in 10th position. So everyone, that brings us to the end of the day 4 at the Star Class World Championship 2025 in Split, Croatia. 2 races completed today bring us to the total of 4 races since the start of competition. The fleet is starting to take the shape, the leaderboard is tightening, and every maneuver is counting. It's been another fantastic day here, another beautiful sea breeze. I hope everybody enjoyed watching with it. Thank you for joining us. Join with us tomorrow. We'll be again at the same spot. From Julia and myself,
yes,
and the entire team here from Split, thank you. Enjoy the rest of the evening and hope to see you tomorrow.